So we're going to be talking about belongings and sentimental items and what do we do with that stuff when somebody dies. So when your mum died, did you guys immediately move to sorting belongings?
Because we did want to leave the house with all the memories of her that she was sick in. I think I got most of her jewellery, kept some of her clothes.
But it was one of the big items as to what do we do with this? So as much as we would have loved to keep it, we did have to sell that. And that was difficult because it was Dad's final car.
We set a trailer down the bottom and we were just
chucking stuff
over the balcony. What's her name? Anna, the clutter girl.
Can't think of it right. I don't know if it's Anna.
No, it's not Anna.
Marie Kondo.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get Marie Kondo on yourself and ask yourself, does this matter to me? And does it bring me joy?
Welcome back to another episode of Good Grief.
Yeah, so good to have you here. Today we're going to be talking about all things belongings.
And this was kind of spurred on in two places.
Yeah.
One inside of our group. Mm-hmm. I think I was really touched by one of our members who mentioned that her son died and the first thing that they had to go and do was pick up his truck.
Yeah.
And that was
tragic.
Yeah, and it was really touched me because Dad's car was one of the things that we had to pick up. So that's sort of where this conversation has spurred from.
Yeah, we'll share our own stories and then some of the things we've also seen and heard along the way.
And then on the more, funnier side, we had your dad down.
Yes.
Dad and G.
Dad and Jerry.
And they don't live in this part of our state. So it's few and far between seeing them. And so we thought we'd play a bit of a couples quiz.
Yep. Got to hang out, play some games, and this couples quiz had 3 different rounds, and this particular round was the compatibility round. And so we were back to back on chairs.
The pressure was on.
Yeah, we made them go first, didn't we?
Yeah. Us, maybe 3-4 years into marriage. How long have they been married?
8 years.
So like double the length of us. So this is Kaylee's dad who's remarried.
Yeah.
But the pressure was on both sides and both highly competitive.
Yeah, so you had a yes-no card that was yes or no on the back, and you had to hold it up. So obviously you're back-to-back so the other can't see, just to see how compatible you are with these.
And how did the question go?
So this one specific question was like, if your house was burning down, would you be mad with your partner for grabbing valuable stuff over sentimental?
It's a bit of a thought provoker. It's like I had to process it for a little while.
Put myself in that situation. House is burning down. Do I grab
and
the
they
stuff
just grab
that's
the stuff
valuable
that's worth
now?
More. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, laptops and jewelry and
Yeah.
TVs, whatever the valuable stuff is.
Or do I go for the photo albums or the
Bible?
The
kids' paintings or whatever those sentimental things are.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Did they get it? They got the same answer, didn't they?
Yeah, they both said no.
That they wouldn't
be mad
if they grabbed valuables over sentimental stuff.
Yes.
So that's interesting. Yeah. We didn't get that question, did we?
We didn't. No, we had different questions. Yeah.
Right. I wouldn't be mad.
No.
I think I would just do, I wouldn't be mad what you did. Maybe I'd just go for the sentimental stuff.
Sure.
Or one of us at least would.
Maybe.
Hopefully it doesn't come to that.
Or maybe grab a mix.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about belongings and sentimental items and what do we do with that stuff when somebody dies. What happens after that stuff after death. And we've been through this a couple of times, obviously with our parents, but then with grandparents and different people along the way. Where should we kick this off?
Yeah, well, there's so many different angles to this because there's so many different situations for when people pass. Mm-hmm. And
so we're not going to be able to cover them all.
Yeah.
Just disclaimer. We're probably just going to share some of our stories.
We'll share our own. It might not be relative to you, but you might pick up a few tidbits and we'll share a few other things that we heard from other people's stories and other experts.
Yeah. So when your mum died, what was the natural series of events? Did you guys immediately move to sorting belongings? Was that a immediate thought? Can you remember those moments?
Yeah, so I don't think it was an immediate thing. I think we packed up her bed and the things she had downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
But we ended up moving across the road to that new house that got built.
Right.
Because we did want to leave the house with all the memories of her that she was sick in.
Yeah.
And so that was probably a couple of months. I think that was June and she passed start of March.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we had a couple of months to get
things
prepared
ready.
and then start packing up and then going through things.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know you and your brothers, 3 brothers, I don't know if your dad was included in this or not, but you guys like divvied up some of the sentimental stuff.
Mm.
How did that come about? Was it, and was it orderly or was it a fist fight?
Yeah, I think no, it was pretty orderly. I mean, there were some things that were
More cherished or less cherished?
taken or dibsed or
Right.
whatever, and it was just we just kind of I think we just figured it out. But
So what were some of the things?
so I think I got most of her jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think my brother's got some pieces, and yeah, I've kept some of her clothes that I still wear.
Yeah. What-
Mum had this beautiful red pull-out couch, like a big sofa couch. She loved red. She loved colour, and so that went to one of my brothers who was he? No, he wasn't dating anyone yet, but I think it stayed in. We moved it across to the house, and then he took that later when he got married. Yeah, my brother who'd moved overseas. I don't know. I'm not sure what he took. Probably not a whole lot because he moved to the States.
Yeah, that's tricky.
Yeah.
So what about all of Mum's clothes? Like you said, you took some of them, but like how long did you guys process that?
Well, my auntie took probably the rest of them.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, because they were very close, and that was very special and
Yeah,
sentimental to her.
I think clothes do hold
Yeah.
a sentimental.
So
like,
she just took them all. I think maybe we threw out some of the, not so great stuff, but
yeah, that you wish your mum had thrown out before.
yeah, maybe yeah. But yeah, I think we definitely just let her take it, and I think just in the last couple of years she started to
Move through that.
Yeah, move through it,
Yeah.
and
So that's 11.
hey, I found this.
10,
Did you want
10
that?
and a half years on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, which is also has been, I think, healing and a good natural like sequence for
Well, it's
her
like
to go through.
Yeah. It's a cathartic process,
Yeah.
which you can get from cleaning the house anyway, or cleaning a room or something like that. It doesn't have to be related to someone who's died. But yeah, in that specific instance, I think big time.
Yeah, I think some people feel like keeping their belongings and their clothes and their smell or whatever holds their spirit, their close to them. So I think she's gotten to the point now where she's like, I can let go of these things, and
Sure.
it's actually been like a beautiful process to let go and give them away. Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, it was a little different because of sudden death and no preparation, that sort of thing. The reason why the story in our Facebook group really touched me is because we were all about cars. Like my
Yeah,
dad's
you
whole
were.
story was cars, mechanical workshops and buying and selling cars and so forth. And so when Dad died, he always looked after his car, and he had so many over the years. But it was one of the big items as to like, what do we do with this? And I can remember the day of the funeral, my brother and I hopping in it and leading the entourage or whatever after the funeral down to the cemetery. And that was a slow and emotional drive. Thankfully, we were driving slow because we were just...
Was your mum in the car?
No, it was only a 2-seater.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
What was it? For our car fans.
look, I almost feel embarrassed to say what it was because it's not the style of car Dad had all through his life. So I might keep it
Okay.
I might keep everyone hanging on that. And
All
maybe
right.
maybe one day I'll share
That's
that.
cool.
But it was a 2-seater. It was a ute, or for those friends of ours in America and around the world, a tray back or a truck.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just two. So just my brother and I don't know where mum was. She was somewhere, family
Someone
and friends.
else took her.
Yeah. But after that, we had no use for the car anymore, and it was worth, a decent amount. And so I don't know whether it was on a loan. I believe it was on a business loan at that time. So I guess it had a financial burden and cost to it.
Sure.
So as much as we would have loved to keep it, we did have to sell that. And that was difficult because it was Dad's final car. It's not like he had a couple that we could pick one and keep it. We had to sell that. So that was a difficult one. Definitely sentimental because of how much our family loves cars. But I think some of the other things that were sentimental in our world was clothing for sure. So there's a couple of shirts I've been able to keep that are still with the times and acceptable.
Yes.
And they've still got some of Dad's smell on them, which it's crazy how scents are so powerful.
I think some of them I went through, was it a month or two ago, and I went and spot cleaned and got some orange dots out and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you've put your seamstress touch to them as well so that I can wear them.
Tailored them to fit you better. You and your dad weren't the same size.
Definitely not. So I think clothing, another big one that both of us share is their Bible. That's just massive. I mean, your mum's Bible's here.
Yeah, it's right here.
And you read that one.
It's got all the writing in it. It's got notes from and leaflets and things, handouts that churches would give out that Mum kept and
And I think handwriting's so special.
Her handwriting on it.
Yeah.
And even she was into Billy Cart, for those who know Billy Cart, and Oshkosh Bagosh.
Okay, I know that one. I don't know Billy Cart.
Upmarket child clothing labels, and she would sell them, and she's still got some order forms in there, so that's super special and nostalgic.
Yeah. Yeah, writing is just beautiful. Seeing those handwritten notes, super special. Even if it's about nothing, even if it's a to-do list. To me, that was sentimental, really early on. And then probably the other big one was Dad's workshop.
Yeah.
Where he worked on cars and he serviced clients and so forth. And so his office was there. And that was one that when he died, we didn't want to have to let the workshop go just because of how much memories were attached in there and the amount of people that he helped and
so many.
The people that he had sit in his office and counseled them, even though, he was a mechanic by trade.
And so you ended up working from there.
That's right. Yeah, running my own business. And it sat dormant probably for 5 or so years, door locked. No one really went in there. So it was a bit dusty and smelly when I got in there. But that's where I started, one of my first online businesses and, sat at his desk and used his pens and had his notes around and
all his books and cassettes.
Yeah, so much stuff. So that was the first couple of years before I met you.
Yes.
And then you jumped into business with me and we both worked out of there, still with all the old furniture. And then it sort of
started to move things around.
Yeah. And then it started to feel right
things.
to get rid of things.
Yes.
And so it's been a long journey. And so his desk and the stuff and books and things like that, we started to turn it into our space. Yeah. And we sort of worked from there for the last 3 years together before buying our place here and working from home.
Yeah. I think each time we moved the place around, we got rid of a few things or we packed up a couple of things. So it was done in stages. And then recently got the fam together and we did a workshop clean out.
Did a spring clean, which was huge. 6 hours, dirty black hands in a workshop.
So if you can imagine this workshop has a mezzanine level with your dad's office and then another little up level with storage full of
car parts and tires and
crazy
stuff up there.
Bits and bobs and nuts and bolts and
So it felt
car memorabilia and all this sort of
we
stuff.
sort of ummed and ahed over some stuff, and maybe this is helpful for you guys listening in. It's kind of like we made a shelf when we were clearing of like, if we had a question mark over something, we put it on that shelf. It was either, yep, definite throw, question mark, or not willing to let that go. They were sort of the three categories.
We just had a trailer down the bottom and we were just
chucking stuff
over the balcony.
Yeah. But you got to remember, this is 10 years on, like nearly 11 years now.
Yeah.
So.
And it's not something your mum was able to tackle by herself.
No chance.
No chance.
Yeah.
It's a group effort.
Totally.
It's definitely needed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely a group effort. And I guess the question comes as to like, do I get rid of this thing? You know, how do you make a decision on that? Firstly, I think the thing is to remember that you don't have to, and unless there is a huge financial burden or time factor and you don't have space to store something. But if you don't have to, it's okay to make a decision later and keep that thing.
Definitely.
It's probably my first thought.
Yeah. And then also, how does this item make you feel? Does it actually hold sentimental value and meaning to you? Or is it just something you're holding on to that was theirs?
Yeah. Sentimental value is the key.
Yeah. So you kind of got to go a bit, what's her name? Anna, the clutter girl.
I can't think of it right now. I don't know if it's Anna.
No, it's not Anna. No.
Marie Kondo.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to go Marie Kondo on yourself and ask yourself, does this matter to me? And does it bring me joy? And yeah, does it hold value? If not, you can get rid of it.
That. You got to Marie Kondo yourself.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And yeah, then making space for new things.
Yeah, and it can be like, if we're holding on to things, and if we call it stuff, right? If it's not sentimental, it could just be stuff.
Yeah.
And if we hold on to that, it can take space, not only physically,
Yes.
but financially, but also mentally. And it's sort of like just carrying baggage around. You know, if I've got a backpack on, if I go on an adventure, I only want the essential things in there that are going to help me, you know, on that journey. And so I guess that's one way to think about it. You know, keeping this thing, will it help you in the future? Like, I think it's beautiful that you kept Mum's Bible. That's a wonderful thing to keep and to cherish. But like, I don't know. I wasn't too fond to keep a TV that Dad had, for example.
Yeah.
It doesn't hold much sentimental value, you know, even though we watched things on that TV together. So I think asking yourself the question, you're right, what does this mean to me, is a great way to start.
Yeah.
And then deciding, is it a definite keep? Is it a question mark that I'll think about at another time? Like Mum's bedroom, she's still got a lot of Dad's clothes, neatly folded, you know, jewelry and so forth. And it hasn't been the right time to think about some of that stuff. So it's been fine to sit there. Not a problem.
Yeah, maybe for some, it's even a guilt thing. Like maybe you feel guilty for throwing these things out.
Totally.
Maybe too soon or too much of it, and you feel guilty for not keeping enough of it, and so you don't know what to do, and so you just end up keeping it all. But is that actually taking a toll on you, and would your loved one want that? So I don't know.
Yeah, and I guess that
These
comes back to
questions
things.
to ask.
Yeah, it's okay to keep it.
Totally.
It's totally okay to keep it. And if if you can't decide now, maybe you've even gone to like start the process and you've just broken down in tears and you literally don't have the strength. You know, you can't even fight to get enough oxygen in to take the next step. You know, back away and fight it another day. That's what I'd say.
Some people don't have the luxury, unfortunately. Sometimes they have to sell the house, they have to downsize, and so these things are a time matter, time and space. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think in those situations, it really does make it more important to ask yourself, you know, what does this mean to me? Why is it important? What's the sentimental value? And what things could you take long term, you know, that might find a place in the house.
Yeah.
To show off and to cherish. I also think that, you know, creating a special, you could call it a grief box, or you could call it a memory box, something that you can fit a couple of smaller things into is a beautiful way to sort of bring some of those belongings into one spot. And then you can look at them often.
I think we brought this up in a previous episode. Yeah, the little box. Definitely. If you can fit those things in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But man,
it's a nice way for people who don't have a lot of space.
Totally.
To just still have a few things where they can go open the box up and be there, and whether it's nostalgia or memory, story, feel them.
Totally.
Yeah, smell.
My heart just breaks though for everybody going through this process. It's not easy.
No.
It really isn't. And it's not something that you ever wanted to face. It's not something that I ever expected I would need to do. You know, we don't think about that in life. Like, I don't know, out of us, who's going to die first? I don't know. Like, we're not planning for what we're going to do with all of the stuff. I like the guys from the Minimalists. They talk about, you know, I wouldn't call myself a minimalist, but I like some of the concepts. They talk about the reason around having less is because you cherish those things more than you would if you had tons of stuff. And so this concept of like, and I think in the West, we have got so much stuff, you know, and
we do.
We have got, you know, rooms in our house that we barely go into and things that we barely pick up. And, you know, we're really blessed in that regard, but where is the line of too much, you know? And so there's this idea that if we have, you know, 3 things that we really cherish and they're really sentimental, we will use those things and we will value them so much more than if we had 30 things. And I like that concept when it comes to dealing with people's belongings after they've died. It's like, what are the things that are going to amplify my memory of them, the joy that I shared with them, the experiences that we had, the love that we shared. Let's do our best to find those things and hold on to them.
So back to the workshop, we pulled out one thing that we kept, didn't we, out of all that stuff? Yeah,
one thing. And it's hanging in our garage right now. And that's just a big photo frame of Dad. Yeah, in his pink pants and his white shirt tucked in, leaning on his white car.
Yep.
In Sydney Harbour.
With green grass. Yeah, perfect.
Totally.
And we had a perfect spot for it. So as soon as I saw it, I went, we're going to take that. Yep. It's awesome.
And it's just one of those things, like, I look at it and I just feel my heart beat out of my chest. And I'm like, man, I'm glad, you know, that I kept that.
Yeah.
That was thanks to you, actually. So thank you.
You're welcome. Something else special that's pink that I kept. You know what they are?
I do, actually. For a second, I didn't.
I know, like your face is like, no.
It's your mum's glassware.
Yeah. So pretty sure my auntie brought them back from France, and it was a wedding gift for my mum and dad.
Wow.
And they're these beautiful, like peachy pink, twisted.
I call them like goblets.
Glass. Yeah, they're kind of like little wine goblets.
Champagne flutes.
Champagne and little mini wine goblets.
Yep.
And then there's actually even some saucers and cups that I haven't pulled out because we don't have space here. But
they're special to pull out
and
use on different occasions.
Yeah. And I remember when we'd packed them up at one stage and moving in one of the houses. And so when we were divvying up stuff from the house, I was like, where are those pink glasses? Like, yeah.
It was actually really special to have your family over last Christmas and to pull them out and everybody to use them.
Yeah.
That was really special.
Yeah, it was. And a few other special occasions.
Yeah.
We always have to tell people these ones are very special, so be careful.
Yeah, the day one of those breaks, it's going to be
we do have a perfect set.
That's going to be a day.
Yeah.
So Glad we kept those.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, mum's jewelry and a Bible. They're probably my 3 biggest.
Yeah, jewelry is a special one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys got all your dad's jewelry, hey?
Yeah. So there wasn't much left after the plane crash, but jewelry remained. And so that was very special. I don't personally have any of it. I know mum keeps dad's wedding ring
on her thumb.
Yep. I think my brother got dad's necklace. To me, they're sentimental, but not so much that I needed them. And I'm more than happy for them to hold on to those things. I had another ring that mum and dad gave me for my 18th. And to me, that's special because it was gifted to me.
Gifted from him.
Yeah. And so that's nice to keep and hold close. And I think jewelry has that sentimental value because they wore it once. It was close to them. It was on their skin. And 2, it experienced things with them as well, or with you all together. It went and traveled. It did all of the things. So I think it's just a beautiful way of keeping somebody close to you. I know you've got a necklace.
Yeah, I've got a necklace that's got mum's name, and then another gold one that I wear layered. And my little brother, he took mum's engagement ring, so he's
and it's around his neck.
He's literally worn it around his neck on his chain since that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super special.
Yeah.
This is a big topic. We could probably talk about it all day.
I know this was going to be a short one, but I knew we could go on.
Yeah. So if you're going through this process right now, take your time. There isn't any rush.
There's no right or wrong.
There's no right or wrong. You're right. And ask yourself those questions like, what sentimental value does this have to me? Why is this something that I'd like to keep?
Yeah.
And process it in your own time and ask people to come and help you with that.
Yep.
Even if it's not family, it could just be friends.
Totally.
Just to bounce some ideas around.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you need those extra hands or those
Thoughts
extra eyes, thoughts. Yep. Even just
don't have to do it alone.
Even just the bodies being there supporting you.
Fully.
Yep.
Cool. Well, this has been great.
Yeah.
Hey, if you've enjoyed this episode and you're not part of our Facebook community, come and hang out. Look up Good Grief Support Group, or you'll find the link in the show notes.
Come
I'm
join.
so proud of our family inside that group.
It's so beautiful.
So full of love and support.
Yeah.
And people just carrying each other through this grief journey that's so hard alone. So come join the group, hang out with us, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Big love.
Bye for now.
Ciao.